Tension in Osun State ahead of the governorship election. Some killed, some injured. But the governorship election is getting highly intense as the race is now very open. And former minister has been arrested by the DSS, handed over to the ICPC for investigation. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale, live for you here in our Abuja studio. It's the first day of the month of June. I know my boss wouldn't like this. It's probably one of the most special days in the year, not just because it's the 1st of June, but because it's my boss's birthday. Happy birthday to you, boss. Dr. John Momo. Well, let's get it started on tonight's program. Tonight, I'm going to take you to Osun, the violence we have seen, the intensity of the race, and of course, what is also happening, what has happened today. A former minister under the Bola Tinubu administration has now been arrested. He's being looked for. The DSS arrested him and handed him over to the ICPC for investigation on alleged certificate forgery. We're getting insight into all of these for you. And PDP members petition the state over the case involving Mr. Senator Samuel Anyanwu. We'll be getting to know a lot of those issues tonight on the program. But first, let's serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, has unveiled a new case management policy aimed at improving efficiency and speeding up justice delivery across the country. Speaking during the unveiling, Justice Kekereekun explained that the initiative would leverage technology to modernize judicial processes while maintaining judicial independence and constitutional principles. The CJN urged lawyers, judges, lawmakers, universities, and technology experts to work together to build a digital system that reflects Nigeria's legal system and constitutional values. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, working with TAF Africa, have opened special continuous voter registration exercises for over 500,000 internally displaced persons at the Makurdi Mega IDP camp. Speaking with Channels Television during the flag-off exercise at the camp, the Senior Monitoring and Evaluation Officer of TAF Africa, Mr. Tefa Tiokase, notes that no Nigerian, irrespective of their demographic or living conditions, should be left out of the 2027 general elections, beginning with the right to vote. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, today announced the revocation of the operating licenses of 46 microfinance banks. According to a statement signed by the Apex Bank's Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Hakama Sidi Ali, the move takes immediate effect. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso approved the revocation following the bank's failure to meet regulatory requirements for continued operation as licensed financial institutions. The governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, has assured that the state police bill will receive speedy approval at the state level. He gave this assurance in the presidential villa after presenting his certificate of return to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu following his electoral victory in the governorship election in Ekiti State. The Senate leader, Okpeyemi Bamidele, who accompanied the governor, said the issue of state police is no longer about political interests or politics. Top women leaders and development partners believe that Africa will never reach its full potential if it keeps sidelining its women. They're demanding bold investments in women leadership and full participation in politics and the economy. The charge came during a high-powered women leaders networking meeting in Abuja themed Women Leading Africa's Next Chapter. The event, convened by the UNDP Nigeria and co-hosted by the Ministries of Women Affairs and Foreign Affairs, honored Ms. Ahunna Eziakonwa, UN Assistant Secretary General, and UNDP Regional Director for Africa. To Ondo State, where some leaders and elders of the APC have again commended the party's National Working Committee for its intervention in resolving the continuous primary election outcomes. Addressing a news conference in Akure, the state capital, the chairman of the forum, Mr. Demola Ijabi, disclosed that the NWC's decision to review and approve candidates for the upcoming elections had reaffirmed the party's commitment to internal democracy. The elders called on all leaders, elected officials, aspirants, and stakeholders to close ranks, eschew decisive politics, and work together in the overall interest of the party and the people of Ondo State.
Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program today. So let us begin tonight on the first one of the biggest story. It may come to some as a surprise, but some may have been expecting it because the issue surrounding Nnaji, a former Minister of Science and Technology, has been an ongoing issue. So today we understand that the DSS has arrested the former minister over allegations of certificate forgery. He was said to have been arrested at the Akano Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, as he was about to board a private jet. Operatives of the DSS arrested him and handed him over to the ICPC. And ICPC had come in a statement today to confirm that he's in their custody. The sources said the former minister resigned last October under controversial circumstances, arrested by the DSS officials today on the request by from the ICPC and all the Related Offences Commission over allegations of certificate forgery, and later handed over to the anti-graft agencies. According to the sources, the ICPC had extended several invitations to the former minister following petitions on how he managed the ministry, and therefore contacted the DSS to assist in arresting him. Let's get some legal perspectives to these one, and the issues surrounding his arrest. A lot of politics also happening in Enugu State. Of course, this man is a major force in the local politics of Enugu State. How long did this investigation take, and how the perspectives and the angles relating to how he was arrested by the DSS handed over to the ICPC? I'm being joined virtually on the program tonight by a lawyer, Mr. Liberos Oshoma. Of course, I'll be getting to Mr. Oshoma just in a bit. There is another matter that will get our attention, and this has to do with the People's Democratic Party and the issues relating to the petition against Mr. Samuel Anyanwu. And several days after the petition was submitted to the IG, nothing has yet been done. That gets our attention. But everyone, sit tight. I'll also take you to Osun State, but I need to go on a break. When I return, I'll be taking all of these issues one after the other. I will give you perspectives into the details on what really happened in all of these issues, and I'll be back after now, everyone. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. So let me take you to one of our biggest stories tonight that we're following for you, and that has to do with the arrest of the former minister under the Bola Tinubu government, which is Nnaji, who was said to have been arrested by the DSS in Akano Ibiam Airport in Enugu State, and is now being handed over to the ICPC. Mr. Liberos Oshoma is live for us on the program. Mr. Oshoma, thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. I remember, and the reason why I'm calling you back, you remember when this matter came up, I invited you on the allegation of certificate forgery. Now,
yes,
there are other issues that we are understanding the reason behind the arrest of Mr. Nnaji, which questions around what he did as minister is not coming up. What are your thoughts? Legally speaking, DSS arresting him, handing him over to the ICPC.
So for me, first and foremost, we must thank, I think it was Premier Times that actually did a very detailed investigation on this matter and broke the news. And typical of our politicians, at the initial stage, there was a whole lot of grandstanding, from him. And he even submitted a petition to the Minister for Education for investigation against the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, on the ground that they illegally disclosed altered his certificate and disclosed it to third parties. I think was it a 32 or 24 members panel was set up, and after investigation, they came up with the fact that they indicted him, and that truly that the certificate was not only forged, but the NYC also. So the issue now is, if you use all of these certificates to collect appointments from the federal government, and all through that time, you drew salaries from office, you took steps from office under the presumption that you were truly, you are truly graduated from that university, shouldn't it be normal, commonsensical, that the federal government should also be asking for the action that he took, the act that he took while in office? Because it's like impersonation now. You are impersonating a graduate. The salaries that he drew from office, he should return those salaries. And then, also, even though there's presumption of regularity in his favor, at the time he was minister, there was presumption that, yes, truly every other thing had been done. But the question now is that there were certain actions that he took in office that the federal government also need to look at. If an issue as minute as certificate that the former minister, was not forthcoming with it.
But you look at the issue, there are also the political issues on the ground in Enugu State. And they will say there are forces and counter forces. Is this man battling a political matter, or this is just purely a matter that he had to answer to illegality or alleged illegality around his record? Or what exactly? Do you think political issues are also bearing its head in the matter of Uche Nnaji?
Yeah, they say he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. I will not want to dwell on the politics of it. There might be politics. Certainly, if you have skeletons in your cupboard, your opponent will latch onto those skeletons, expose them and highlight them. I was not the one that said Uche Nnaji should present a forged certificate as concluded by the panel set up by the Minister of Education. They are not my words. There were allegations by Premium Times, and the minister wrote a petition to the Minister for Education, and he was investigated. And the committee came up with a damning report saying that indeed the former minister forged his certificate and forged the NYC certificate because, remember, Sean, the man said he served NYC even before he was alleged to have graduated. That was what actually raised the red flag. So in this case, if it has been established, I had in one of those interviews, remember I called for his arrest and prosecution to serve as a deterrent. Now we're talking about politics around the corner. We're talking about campaigns. We're talking about people who are going to present themselves for office. If APC wants to show that they are not a party that is inhabited by certificate forgers, this is one of such opportunity for them to prosecute. Whether politics is involved, whether people, his opponent will want to latch onto it, that is entirely left to him, because a man who brought ant-infested wood to his house invited chicken to be his playmate. It's an Igbo proverb.
So DSS arresting him, and there are accusations of him evading arrest. That he's been invited, and these are some of the details entailed in the statement made by the agencies involved. With evasion of arrest, isn't that another offense? He's been invited and all whatnot surrounding the circumstances. Don't forget that this is a minister that served under this administration. How did he get through the screening?
DSS screening.
DSS screening, security clearance, Senate screening. He was appointed. He was sworn in. How did that happen under the watch of this government?
You see, Shehu, it's quite unfortunate, really. quite unfortunate. This called to question our screening method, both at the DSS level and at the Senate level. And then this attitude of, do you know who I am? The ICPC, for what we gathered, had extended several invitations to him. And the man had refused to honor the invitation on the ground that, well, do you know who I am? Do you know you are talking to a former minister? I was the one that resigned. I was the one that sent a petition. And so the heavens cannot fall. And I like the fact that the government is taking this seriously, because a lot of people, I must say this, a lot of people have been pointing accusing figure at the president, that the president probably is condoning him, because in the last election, in the campaign, there were issues also raised around the president's certificate. And so because of that, people will insinuate. So that is why people like this can serve in the government. And so if those issues are there, germane, have not been answered, then certainly somebody like this can be condoned and be allowed to go free. It also calls to question the kind of screening, the kind of methodology deployed by our DSS during screening. If DSS has screened this man and given him a clean bill of health, and yet journalists unearthed his certificate that he did not graduate, and all of those documents were in the public space. For me, it was an embarrassment, not just to the government, but to us Nigerians. Imagine traveling abroad, and you are sitting down with 4 journalists from international media organizations, BBC and CNN, and the next question somebody will post to you, you are from Nigeria, where we learned that the serving minister forged his certificate to serve in government and forged his NYC certificate. Do you know how embarrassing that would be to you as a journalist? Yet DSS cleared this minister. That is the highest security body that we have. Covert security body cleared this minister. And the ICPC are calling you to come administrate your own side of the story. You went AWOL. Do you know who I am mentality? And that's why I like the fact that this is not just an ordinary person, because if it's an ordinary person, they will smoke him out quickly. Now DSS have arrested him. We need to see prosecution immediately. And some of us will follow up this matter and ensure that we see to the latter. Whether people are playing politics with it is, for me, immaterial and irrelevant. Whether the opposition want to latch in on it, he was the one that brought this upon himself and he should answer it. And the president also, this is my call to the government, the president should not allow all these powerful people in government to intervene so as to give this man a soft landing. Because when that happens, it will boomerang on the president. People would say that, well, what do you expect from a Tinubu government if his people also are alleging that his certificate is questionable? Certainly, they will give such a man who has questionable certificate soft landing. So that is why I think the government, the Attorney General of the Federation, should also be interested in this matter.
Mr. Liberus Oshoma, many thanks for talking to us tonight on this matter.
Always my pleasure. Thank you, Sharon.
Let me take you to yet another matter where we've seen a group within the People's Democratic Party who have written a petition, and their agitations that several days after they submitted the petition to the IG, Mr. Tunji Disu, demanding an investigation into Senator Ayanwu and Mr. Muhammad over a letter dated 3rd November 2025 addressed to the INEC. The petition alleges that the letter falsely claimed the party's National Working Committee, NWC, had suspended Ambassador Umar Ilya Damagum as acting national chairman and appointed Mohammed in his place. There are a lot of petitions a lot of issues raised by that petition. Tonight, I'll be speaking with Anthony Ehilebo, who is a lawyer and a member of the PDP, although on the side of the Turaki faction of the party. We saw that petition emerge from the Ogbede Associate Solicitors and Lawyers, holding brief for the factional PDP and saying that the IG should act on this matter. Anthony Ehilebo is live for us here in our Abuja studio. Thanks so much indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Those who will say, look, the party seems to have moved forward. INEC is listening to this faction in which you have, some of you are aggrieved or angry and petition the IG over. Don't you think that this matter is now finished, laid to rest, and somewhat a nullity as far as the situation on ground is concerned.
How can it be laid to rest? You just raised an issue of Nnaji and how the law has caught up to him. A grave crime is ongoing, and some of us should just leave it like that. Is that the kind of country we want? This is the same. Let me just give you context to what I'm saying. On the 17th of November, Senator Ayaun forwarded a letter. I have a copy of that letter. He forwarded a letter to INEC, then under Yakubu Mahmoud. And he said to them, I'm forwarding a judgment that restricts you from doing two things. One, from accepting any letter that is not signed by Ambassador Ilya Demagun. Two, from recognizing anybody as chairman until the 8th of December 2025. On the 1st of November, the NWC of the party at its 608 NWC meeting, I have also sent you minutes of that meeting, met and took several far-reaching decisions. This was almost a full house. You had 14 members in attendance at that meeting. And at that meeting, they suspended Ayaun, who was National Secretary, Bature, who was National Organizing Secretary, Oswaha and Ajibade, who was the National Legal Advisor, on the 1st of November. On the 3rd of November, Senator Ayaun wrote a letter to INEC as secretary, knowing that he had been suspended, and said that at that NWC meeting, Abdurrahman was appointed as acting chairman and Damagun was suspended. There is no meeting where that ever happened. In fact, I'll tell you how much the implication of the 608 meeting has. An appeal court judgment in review of what the Supreme Court, in fact, because they had relied so much on the Supreme Court, it reviewed it and made a comment and said the Supreme Court never invalidated the minutes of the 608 NWC meeting. As far as it's concerned, the actions taken in that minute are still live and subsisting. Let me tell you what that 608 NWC meeting further went to do. They received the report of the disciplinary committee. And that disciplinary committee went further to recommend the expulsion of Senator Ayaun. It upheld that decision. But someone brought to their attention that Ayaun had already gone to court. So they said, yes, we have upheld the expulsion of Ayaun, pending the outcome of that judicial exploration. On the 12th of January, Justice Halilu of the FCT High Court gave judgment and upheld that expulsion, which meant as of the 1st of November 2025, Ayaun was an expelled member of the PDP. Now, if there's no collusion in INEC, and I want to say this to the INEC chairman, it's part of my petition, that the police need to investigate why the INEC chairman has a subsisting judgment that ties the hand of INEC. And he went ahead and acknowledged Abdurrahman as acting chairman, proceeded to allow him conduct a convention. When you had a judgment that tied your hand, restricted you from even taking any letter sent by the same person who sent you that letter.
Just give me a moment. Your petition is asking the IG to investigate what many will describe as an internal party leadership dispute. Just for a moment. I said what many would describe as majorly an internal party dispute. But you are inferring that there is some kind of criminality.
A criminal aspect.
What evidence of the criminal, or what part of the criminal code or the penal code or other applicable laws would you subscribe to that the offense by Ayaun, according to you, and Abdul Rahman Mohammed have committed beyond a disagreement over who legitimately is the leader of the party? What offense are you alleging that they've committed?
Okay. So when you furnish false information to a public institution, that is an offense in itself under the penal code. So if you write a letter to Channels and say I'm the lawyer of Channels, and Channels has instructed me to do this to INEC, and INEC takes this and says this is what, because we know you as the erstwhile secretary, and you didn't inform INEC that you had been suspended. Look, the matters at hand here is that he lied to INEC. There was no 608. I have the minutes of the 608 meeting. There was no time the NWC legitimately met and sacked or suspended Damagun. That is the simple fact here. That he lied. And two, this same Ayaun is the same person signing documents today. He is not a member of PDP.
Well, as a lawyer,
yes,
it does look to me that the court have already seized aspects of this leadership dispute. Why should the police intervene simultaneously?
Because there was a crime committed. You wrote, yes,
before the court made its position.
Not even, it has nothing to do with the court.
No, there was a position of the court.
Yeah, the position of the court is that
INEC on this matter.
In fact, the court, in the recent Court of Appeal judgment, made a pronouncement that the 608 NWC meeting is still live. That this meeting itself, it admitted the contents of this meeting. It even gave judgment. In fact, the Supreme Court struck out the appeal made by Ajibade. Ajibade went and as himself as legal advisor to make a representation at the appeal court. The appeal court said, no, you have been suspended by your party. You cannot come here. And in fact, it even went further to say, we have no documents before us to show that you were re-elected, even if you claim that you had the power to appoint someone. And said, no, you cannot appoint anybody. That in itself should give INEC. This is why we are saying this. So we need to be very clear that INEC is about to derail our democracy. PDP, whether you like it or not, is one of the biggest, in fact, the biggest opposition party that is grounded in 774 local governments. And the actions they are taking so far have reflected a conspiracy that people have now come to see as clear.
Let me ask you quickly, as a lawyer, and you look at whatever matter that has happened in the, and I like for us to look at the subject matter in a way that we inform our public and the public and also find solution. Now, the rest, or associate rest as it may be, is whether or not who becomes the leadership of the party to be recognized by INEC. Ultimately, the leadership that will conduct the affairs of the party to the 2027 election. And I'm wondering, is that not already settled in all of what?
Yes, it is. It is.
They're already uploading the names.
No, they have not given
the codes.
Not given, in fact, this is why yesterday I was on the show and some of their members came and said INEC has given. INEC cannot give them the code.
What if INEC?
Because that means INEC is playing to the script that they already have. Because we've seen filings by INEC. You heard what Mr. Wike said. He said, those of you on the other side are holding your meetings in the hotel. They are holding their meetings at Wadata House. Doesn't that distinguish two judgments have
the real leadership of the party?
Two judgments. And I don't want to bore Nigerians with legalese because it seems as if we're overcrowding and overbearing legalese on them. But it's very simple to understand. The Supreme Court spoke months ago. And with the verdict of the Supreme Court, the NWC that was elected on the 15th and 16th became null and void. That was an acceptable judgment. And it also refused, that same judgment, refused the appeal, the cross appeal, to allow Ajibade, which meant the 4 other suspended members wanted to have a right. And he said no. It struck out that appeal, which meant the party reverted back to the owners of the party, which include the BOT and the NEC. And 2/3 members of the NEC met and took a decision on how to revitalize the party. But people who have a plan to destroy our democracy, who want to perpetuate someone who they know has failed in office. So I always ask them, I have a poison pill for them. Anytime they come on your show, tell them to say whether this government has performed or not. They will not be able to say it. It's just like you take holy water, you give to a vampire and say drink. It will not drink it.
So finally, what would you say is the way forward?
The way forward is for INEC to read.
In the eye of the public, PDP is finished.
No, PDP is alive. And one thing you understand about PDP is that, like people like myself who are generic and real members of PDP, we are concerned about the fortunes of Nigerians. And we know that PDP has a pathway. Look, in 2015, when this APC government took over power, and you ask Nigerians today, will you rather be in 2026 or go back to 2015? I'm sure the answer will be, let us go back and present a Goodluck Jonathan, who gave us an economy that was the second fastest.
Why are you forcing Jonathan?
We are not forcing him. You see,
as he said,
if you know the trajectory of Jonathan, at every point in time we have had to ask him, because he's not one of those that seems hungry for power.
So is Jonathan likely to be on the ballot?
Look, he's on the ballot. And no matter what, everything they are trying to do is to make sure that we don't present the salvation of Nigeria. Let me tell you, PDP has looked through history, has looked through the history of this country and decided that, look, this man was someone who respected our institutions on the day of his election in 2015.
So Jonathan is the salvation of 2027
I'm telling
election
you,
for Nigerians.
there is no other candidate that fits the bill in terms of even geo-balancing.
But can he beat Tinubu in the real sense?
Let them allow PDP
Atiku,
to thrive.
Peter Obi.
Let them allow PDP to thrive and let Jonathan
All right.
be on the ballot. I tell you before 3 p.m., the entire...
Not before 12.
Sheung, let us be practical. Let us even talk about things that we can deliver. Jonathan has that record. He has that
Tinubu,
history.
Atiku,
No,
Peter Obi.
listen. Nigerians can compare between 2026
we need to go,
or 2027 and 2015. They can compare what life they had then.
Anthony, thank you so much indeed for your time today.
Thank you very much, Sheung, for allowing me this opportunity.
Let's switch gears quickly and I'll take you to Osun State where we're seeing political activities which is gathering momentum in that state. And a lot of intensity has also come into the race. Earlier today, we saw Governor Ademola Adeleke who flagged off a project and the state government saying that these are sharp reaction to the promises made by the governor to the people of the state. But opposition is talking about questioning the timing and the intent, while the ruling party, which is the Accord party in the state, insists the administration is simply delivering on its electoral mandate as both sides compete to shape public perception ahead of the poll. Concerns are also growing over rising political tension, the conduct of campaigns, and the imperative of maintaining peace in one of Nigeria's most politically significant states. Tonight, we examine the issues driving the contest, the competing claims, the political calculations, and what the evolving dynamics could mean for voters and the future of Osun State. And I'll show you some of the violent pictures that have emerged in the recent days and weeks that we have seen in Osun State, raising a lot of concern to onlookers and those who are Osun citizens about what this contestation is really all about. Is it about governance or solely politics? And why is this violence happening? People have been killed. Just recently, we saw the spokesperson of the Accord Party in Osun State wrote and delivered a petition to the Inspector General of Police asking him to act quickly. And tonight, let's get some perspectives on this matter. I'm being joined by the spokespersons of the different campaigns. First and foremost, let me bring in the spokesperson of the Accord Party in Osun State. He's a lawyer, Mr. Kwalumi Olagengbesi, who is live for us in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Olagengbesi, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And I have also the spokesperson of the APC campaign in Osun State, Mr. Remi Omowaye, who is virtually with us on the program. Let me begin with you. Today, we saw Senator Ademola Adeleke flagging off a project. There are those in the opposition in the state who say these are some of the unnecessary projects. He's wasting the money of Osun State people. He should have focused on people-oriented projects rather than going into runways, longest flyover, going into projects that will not directly impact. What exactly? Is this all about politics, though?
You see, we in Osun State, we have conceded to the opposition the opportunities to say whatever they care to say. But when you come to Osun State and you see the level of performance of Mr. Governor, going through all facets of Osun State economy, you give solid commendation to Mr. Governor. The project that was commissioned today, that project is specifically designed to elevate Osogbo, the state capital, and to ensure that it increases economic activity. And so that's a very beautiful project. And apart from road development, the administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke has concentrated its administration on key sectors in the state. So we're glad that virtually every important sector has been addressed and has been touched in the state. And the government is still continuing with its administration. So when the opposition come out in public and say a few things, we concede to the fact that they need to say things because they are looking for opportunity to come back to government. But let me tell you, the APC administration, the APC party, had the opportunity to rule and serve the people of Osun State for 12 years. And I tell you today, if you go back to Osun State, just within 3 years, the governor in the state today has superseded and has done better than the previous administration. I'm so well proud of it.
How would you, what are the evidence of his better performance over what the APC? What would you say he has done?
Let me take some. Let me take education for example. Before Governor Ademola Adeleke came on board in NECO, Osun State was rated backward, below 30. But today I tell you, in Osun State is #1 in Southwest and #7 in the entire federation. If that's NECO assessment, that is the federal government agency. Budget recently last year rated Osun State 100% in fiscal transparency. So virtually in all sectors, if you look at primary healthcare system, Osun State government in 2024 and in 2025 was rated one of the best performing states in the federation, and in fact was awarded, given money to celebrate its performance. This was done by still a federal government agency. So the government has performed in all facets of human endeavor.
Do you think this performance makes him is this popular other than the popular name that is being tagged as the dancing senator?
He's super popular. In Osun State, I want you to know, the greatest challenge before the coming of Governor Ademola Adeleke was the crisis of salaries. Civil servants were not being paid, pensioners were not being paid because the previous administration lacked the direction and the acumen to give proper direction in doing all of these things. But when Governor Ademola Adeleke came on board, the first thing he started was to start addressing the issue of half salary that's been owed to civil servants in the past. And this administration has ensured that the welfare of civil servants, both pensioners and those still working, is being taken care of. Interestingly, for the first time in Osun State, pensioners today and civil servants are now being onboarded on a health insurance scheme, wherein when people have health challenges, they can approach the hospital without spending any money. So we have an administration in government today that is taking care of, that is prioritizing the welfare of the people. So when you listen to anyone in Osun State, if you look at the commencement of the campaign, Governor Ademola Adeleke made his direction very clear to the people. But the APC was challenged to present a policy program and a direction to the people of Osun State. The APC brought the same agenda that the previous government failed to perform, brought it to the people. And when the people refused to accept that policy, the APC campaign council turned the entire campaign into violence. It took the intervention of the Inspector General of Police to ensure that about 24 APC thugs were arrested in a single day to stop the political gathering happening in Osun State, just because we have an opposition that lacks direction, that lacks ideas.
That's why you went to the IG to submit a petition.
Absolutely.
But is Ademola Adeleke still popular in Osun State? Because I see the campaign, the flag off today. And those who say, is this a governance flag off or a campaign? Because it does look like, and the accusation from Olayo Omowaye to speak, because they say, are you mixing campaign and governance together? Because that crowd of people
was massive. Yes, I agree with you.
How can you explain in a governance-related...
when you have any program happening in Osun State, where Governor Ademola Adeleke will be on ground, without inviting anybody, the people come out. It is magical. The people come out en masse. The governor is super... Let me tell you today that the opposition candidate in Osun State is not even known by some of the members of the party. So the governor is the only popular candidate. No human being today in Osun State, with due respect, has the popularity that Governor Ademola Adeleke has. And the popularity is not essentially about because he's popular, because he's from a big family that is known to the world, but essentially because he has a caring heart. And he has demonstrated this caring heart in all of his programs. If you look at his program in education, teachers in Osun State today, I've never seen an administration that has catered for their welfare, that's invested so much in their development, like the one we're seeing today. And so that is the development in Osun State. So Governor Ademola Adeleke is very popular, and he's the governor to win in the coming election. However, we have considered to APC the opportunity for them to bring issues and say anything. But when you want to come up with any issue, please, let's settle it based on facts and based on figures on ground.
Let me bring in Remi Omowaye of the APC. Mr. Omowaye, today, Accord Party, the party you faced the last time, is a different party now, but it does look like the candidate is still the same. And there are those who will question, other than the allegation, the ruling party says, you are coming and boasting of federal might. What else would you have to say that would earn you that prominence as a political party in Osun State's politics?
All right, Sean. Good evening. Good evening, viewers at home. I can tell you clearly that Governor Ademola Adeleke has failed the people of Osun. that is our strength. I mean, if you had done well as a governor, it had been very difficult for us to campaign. But I can tell you clearly that I have told the people of Osun. I'm going to start with the program they have today. They constructed a flyover awarded to an estate agent. The name of the company is Astro Limited, Nigerian Limited. The flyover was supposed to be commissioned by the Olubadan of Ibadan, engineer Rashid Ladoja. It did not come because apparently, I'm sure the KBAC got his information that it's a substandard job. How would you give a flyover to a company that is registered as estate agent? Under the Adeleke International Airport, worth 100 billion, is awarded to an interior decorator. Governor Adeleke wants to achieve the longest runway in the world, 5.6 kilometers. Under Governor Adeleke, education had come to something else in Osun. Governor Adeleke sacked 1,500 teachers. Go around the state, schools are in terrible state. I come from Ijesha land. There's a local government called Atakumosa East. Atakumosa East has 84 schools, primary and secondary. In the entire Atakumosa East, they have 97 teachers. In the entire 84 schools. Ilesha Grammar School is one of the pride of Osun. That school has just one English speaker. Our schools' infrastructure in terrible state. Come to health. I saw my brother mentioning PhD. Well, he does not stay in Osun, he doesn't know much. Recently, National Board of Primary Care Centers did a rating, and they said Osun has the second highest number of abandoned primary health care centers. This rating came out, was in all national days, it came out about a month ago. Our primary care centers are in terrible state. It comes from, he's going to run for House of Rep in Obokoriade. There's a video online now of General Hospital, SLK. It's in terrible state. In spite of the fact that Governor Adeleke had access as revenue about 1 trillion naira. I laugh a lot when he posts that he's paying salary. When yearly, since 2023, 13.7 billion naira is paid to post worker. He was the one that got the consultant to come and do staff audit. And the consultant came and said, every year you are paying 13.7 billion to ghost worker. So it's so funny when I see them making in the area of security, because I think has not done anything. In the area of sport, we have failed. As a state, we do not have a single functional stadium. It's only a private stadium that we rely on. Our football club male football club has gone on regulation. Female football club has gone on relegation. The World Township Road is awarded to an interior decorator. A flyover is awarded to a fertilizer company. It is in Osun that they will do what today. There's a road Adeleke constructed in Ife. The rain and rain washed it away. He constructed the road in Egbedore local government. The rain washed it away. People of Osun are not stupid, they are not foolish. Osun is an agrarian state. In the last 3.5 years, government audited report, Governor Adeleke had got 7 billion to agree. That same 3.5 years, he has got 92 billion in governor's office, majorly for whining and dining. So when I see those in Accord Party talking, they think people are stupid. You want Rashid Ladoja, a revered KBAC, to come and commission a substandard. They've forgotten that KBAC had first class in chemical engineering. He will not come and commission a substandard project, a project you awarded to an estate agent, a project that before you completed it has already started developing structural defects. When non-destructive tests was carried out on the bridge, it failed. So what we are saying is the resources coming to state is so huge now that the state should have managed it better. Then it will surprise you, it will shock you that Osun is the only state in the entire Southwest that has not done anything significant with electricity act. As I speak to you, Ekiti, Ondo, Ogun, Lagos, Oyo, they all have regulatory agency for their electricity.
Let me jump in here. You are mentioning a few of the projects that the governor and allegations of substandard execution of those projects, and the fact that there are no thought behind some of the execution or the ideation that brought about those projects. But you see a lot of, and this questions whether or not the electability of Senator Adeleke. But every time that he goes out, I'm questioning whether or not the popularity, political popularity versus governance, if there is any relevance. The spokesperson of the Accord Party is saying Adeleke is the only popular candidate on the ground. Why does he gather so much crowd whenever and wherever he goes? All of these allegations you make, it still does look like the man is very popular with the people of Osun State.
No, he's not. Don't get it wrong. Don't forget that the governor is an entertainer. So because he's an entertainer, people like it when he dance, but they don't take him serious. Do you know University of Ilesha is the most expensive government-owned university in Nigeria? So people see him because he's an entertainer, and he's incumbent governor. When he has program, he will mobilize with state resources. But my brother, let me tell you this: the spokesman that is seated there organized a program for the governor in his town, and the stage collapsed. People that could not organize a single program and do proper stage, and you expect them to do a flyover without problem? No. So the people of Osun know the truth.
There's a political atmosphere in Osun which is becoming increasingly heated, and people have died. And the allegation tonight by the spokesperson of our court party is that members of your party, he said, thugs from your party are being arrested. What responsibility does your party bear in ensuring that the campaign rhetoric does not escalate into violence? Would your party also, because just for a moment, Remy, the fact that the allegation that your party is behind the violence, if you are sure about the popularity of your party, why are those linked to your party killing people and being violent all around the state?
So we are known for peace. In 2023, about 30 members of our party were killed. Now, as I speak, ask him, there is a guy called Emir. He jumped bail. He's a wanted fugitive. He jumped bail. He resides in the government house. When the governor is going out for a program, you will see Emir beside him. There is a guy called Alowole, one of the appointees of the governor, was caught with English pistol, and the video went viral. The police caught him with English pistol. Alowole is being shielded by the governor. All the criminals are the one the governors are shielding. And if anything happens, the governor will run to press to shout because he does not have anything to campaign with. So the governor is enjoying that there is tension because he knows if there's no tension, he will be forced to have intellectual campaign. Because the governor does not have anything to campaign with, so you see him throwing up various rhetorics. So my brother, I can tell you we are a peace-loving party. What we want is peace. And we have said this repeatedly. Any member of our party that is found wanting to be apprehended by the police, what we want is peace. Government has failed the people of Osun. We have brought to the table a credible alternative, and which is Asiwaju Nurudeen Bola Oyebamiji.
Let me allow the spokesperson of the Accord Party, Mr. Olagengbesi, to respond to some of what he said.
So I just want to quickly say this. You see, at times you don't blame people for ignorance when they don't have sufficient knowledge about things happen. In Nigeria, as a company incorporated under the law, a company is allowed to have several objects in their object clause. The way Channels TV is here today, you perhaps have media business, and you can also have some other objects on your object clause. If he has seen any company that is working in Osun State, that company has gone through the proper procurement process. And let me tell you, all the projects in Osun State, particularly the bridge he spoke about, was rated as of global standard by the Nigerian Engineering Society. And this is an organization that is respected. This is an organization that is fit. I'm very sure that the person who is speaking, just speaking politics, has no ideas about the credibility of being an engineer or the capacity or the requirement of the competence of a project. So the reality is this. If you look at virtually every sector, Mr. Governor has addressed and performed excellently well. And so everything he's saying, he's just saying some of these things because there's a need for them to create a kind of situation where there's nothing. But you need to come physically to Osun State. When you talk about urban development, Governor Ademola Adeleke has developed 300 kilometers of road in Osun State just within 3 years. That has never happened before. You are talking about the University of Ilesha. The previous administration proposed the university and abandoned the university. But I tell you today, from different departments, the government has developed buildings. developed mansions. They have created facility and infrastructure for the school to be able to operate very well. So there's no.
What about the thugs that he alleged?
No, before I speak about the thugs, he said something about the primary health care system. That there was a rating that came out. I want to guide him. That primary health care rating comes out every year by November, December, every year. In 2024, Osun State was rated one of the best, and it was awarded with funds to support what we're doing. In 2025, same happened. Osun State government was rated top across the country. So the reality is that you should wait and see what the rating will be by November, December. So if you're saying there's any rating anywhere, I mean, it's story. Why you have this issue of violence and forgery in Osun State is simply because the APC have lost track of what to say to the people of Osun State. And they try to militarize, the election, believing that they have the support of the Nigerian police and the federal might. But interestingly, we are super impressed by what the police is doing today in Osun State. It will interest you that APC's member 24 who were involved in various killing, various violent activities were arrested by the Nigerian police and presented to the whole world. And the members of the political party APC, they are not remorseful enough to apologize to the people of Osun State.
Because we need to go. Your final word, Mr. Mowaye, to respond.
Sure, thank you very much. For the viewers at home, I want them to go to the Osun State government portal. Ascon Nigeria Limited was awarded the flyover, is registered principally as estate agent. Kimsey Global Investment is registered principally for, the thing is most of those companies don't even have anything to do with construction. The airport is given to Soiti Global Limited. Soiti is registered as interior decorator. So it has nothing to do. How would you give a company that is registered as interior decorator to build international airport with the longest runway in the world? I must also say this. You mentioned the University of Leisure. Most of the buildings you see in the University of Leisure, I put it to you, they are funded by test funds, not even Osun State government. And that does not give you reasons for charging 1.5 million naira for a program in University of Leisure, the most expensive government-owned university.
Gentlemen, we need to go because we are totally out of time. Gentlemen,
people of Osun knows the truth, and come August 15, they are going to vote Ashwaju Nurudeen, follow Ibariji.
All right. Thank you, Remy Mowaye. Mr. Pelome, many thanks. The spokespersons of the Accord Party and APC in the Osun governorship race. Many thanks, gentlemen, for talking to us. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Seun Wakimbaloye. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.